Yes, people! Welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match preview of Leicester versus Chelsea. I hope you guys have been well. I hope you guys have had a nice time with Andrew. Obviously, firstly, I would like to say thank you to Andrew. He done an amazing job while I was away with the match reactions. And yeah, he's one of the guys that I've known for a very long time and I trust as well. So big up to Andrew and thank him. Everyone give him a big thumbs up in the comments for doing some of the streams. All right, we didn't get the match previews, but you guys got the match reactions. And even though I mucked up one of them, which I did, I mucked up one of them badly by coming out of my phone and completely cancelling it. It's a big thanks to him for what he's done for me over there. So big up to Andrew on that one, and thank you for doing that for me. Other than that, chat, how you been? I have been watching Chelsea while I have been away, and we've been winning. We've been winning. We beat Leeds. We beat Dortmund. Some people were saying to me, "Jem, stay abroad. Stay abroad. Don't come back." We seem to be winning. That's the comments that I got from the panel in the chat in our little group chat that we've got on Twitter. But I'm back, and obviously we beat Leeds, which wasn't the greatest, but we got it done. And then we obviously had that great game against Dortmund, which was a great game to watch. And funny enough, I was sitting with Dortmund fans. I had Dortmund fan and Bayern Munich fans. I had German fans around me in Dominican Republic, which was quite interesting as well. But yeah, it was it was interesting, and it was always so important. And we're going to get more into that. We're going to talk about Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. We're going to talk about, we've got some of it to talk about. Obviously, it's Chelsea Football Club's birthday today as well. So we'll be going over that as well and talking about that. Lots to get into, man. Lots to tie in. We're going to get the panel in as well to get involved and discuss with us as well. Do me a favor, smash the likes, subscribe if you're new, hit the likes always. Graham Potter's press conference is happening as well. We'll be going through that as well, which is something I will be getting up and discussing with you guys. So we will get the team news. We'll get all of the updates that we need before the game tomorrow. I am going to the game tomorrow. I mean, the game, it's actually just started as well. So we'll go. What we might do actually is start with that, because obviously it's on now. So we'll start with that and then we'll go through all of the bits that I have as well. But guys, smash the likes and let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match preview. I hope you guys are well and have been. Go through the chat quickly and say hello to everyone as well. Big up to Mr. Diamond, Maxwell, Trevor. Joey's back in the building. Welcome back. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Big up to Vic as well. Andrew did do a great job. He smashed it, like I said earlier on. Big up to Goku. Big up to RD. Big up to CFC PSC Lord. James as well. Big up to you, bro. Hope you're well. Ashraf, nice to see you. Merville, nice to see you as well. Who else have we got here? Christian, big up to you. Robert, big up to you. John, big up to you. Everyone that's currently here at the moment, big up to you guys, man. It's been a while, man. Been a while. Big up to Ardash as well. Didn't ever follow football, but before now, I think I have some connection with Chelsea, so try to stick. Big up to Ardash as well. Well, you've picked the right team, mate. You picked the right team. That's what I would say. Big up to Lawrence as well. I've been away, bro. I've been away. Can't you see? Look how brown I am. Look at my face. I've caught a bit of colour, so can't complain. We got to Cube as well. Right, what we're going to do to start with is we're just going to cover the Graham Potter conference as we speak, and then we'll get into the bits that obviously I have for us to go through as well. So let's start off with the comments that he's came out on about Reece and Aubameyang. So Graham Potter says Reece has been ill, so hasn't trained. He won't make the game tomorrow. Fucking hell. Raheem had a little feeling in his hamstring tightness, if anything, looking doubtful. Aubameyang, slight problem with his back, looking likely he will miss the game. So we already have been told Reece James, Raheem Sterling and Aubameyang are all players that are going to miss tomorrow's game. Shock. Okay? What absolute shock. I mean, Reece James is ill. I mean, anyone can get ill, that can happen. But when you're on a good run of form, and we have been, all right, we might have not been pretty in terms of the way we played, but 2 games is like Chelsea winning 2 games on what we've seen prior to that is a blessing for us right now. That's what it feels like, and it's a big game tomorrow. It's a big game because even though we've gone and done what we did in the Champions League, which we're going to talk a little bit soon on, the Premier League is where Chelsea are really suffering at the moment. And obviously we're not accumulating points. We still find ourselves fighting with the bottom half of the table more than the top half of the table. Does this push us back into a back three? Some people wanted to see a back four. We're going to do the team lineups a bit later on. I'm not too sure with the team lineups now if that's going to be the case, but we'll see. Big up the stream elements, Bex, John Anderson, Ashraf. My boy Yellow Bus is in the house. What's happening, brother? This is the Gemstar, my favourite pineapple. You listen, Yellow Bus, mate. You always have to be rude, didn't you? You always have to be rude. Over 100 people here right now. Big up to every single one of you guys that are tuned in at the moment. I don't want to see this, Marcus. I'm not going to lie. Do not want to see this. So, from what we know at this moment in time, Reece James, Aubameyang, and Sterling are doubts for tomorrow. Now he talks on Mason Mount. Now, Mason Mount's one of the topics that we're going to talk about later in today's show. Obviously, there's been news around him and his contract. We'll get into that. He goes on to say that he probably needs a little bit more time before returning from injury. He's happy around the place and wants to help the team. That is normal with Mason. He wants the team to win, be injury-free, and play football. So the question's probably being, where is Mason Mount's mind at? What's going on? Like, obviously, we've not seen any game time for him as well. Graham Potter has said that he's kind of carrying or returning from an injury. Is that part of the reason why we've not seen Mason Mount up to this point? He has been on the bench. Maybe it's an injury that, I don't know, that works. If you've got an injury and you pass your medical, then you're fit. So he has been on the bench in the past. So I don't know. He's happy. Apparently he's happy. He's happy being around the team. He's happy to, help the team win. I think all of these things are true about Mason Mount. He isn't in the greatest of form. He isn't being played at the moment, you could probably say. Obviously, Potter's assuming it's injuries, but maybe the contract discussions with the owners is another part of the reason why maybe his form is affected. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to talk more about Mason Mount a bit later on, actually. So I'll save what I've got to say about Mason Mount as well. Big up to Lewis, man. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, he had a good game, didn't he? He actually had a good game, and I was shocked. I was laughing watching Kai Havertz against Borussia Dortmund. I could, just because I know he has the ability to do that. It's just a shame that he doesn't do it enough, and that's the question with him. He needs to kick on, but we'll talk about him as well. I hope we play the same. Oh, Lewis, I'll be at the game tomorrow, bro, as well. I am coming to the game, so I will see you down there, brother, 100%. Big up to Sam. Nice to see you. Gary's in the house as well. So let's move on from comments on Mason Mount onto the next comment, which is to do with what are we doing here? To do with what we saw on Twitter. Graham Potter on Todd Bowley with a beer after Borussia Dortmund. Half the beer was gone. Probably was thirsty. Probably thirsty. He looked half. I wouldn't say he looked half cut. He looked drunk. He looked like he had a couple of drinks. That's what he looked like. But people will question why the owners are like so happy and cuddling Potter and whatever. It's a Champions League fucking round 16. Let's not be idiots. Like, obviously they're going to be happy. They're owners. They want us to do well. Relevant to what we feel about Graham Potter and if he's good enough for the job. These owners, want to see us win like us fans do as well. So them showing a bit of a bit of a laugh and passion and being, it's fine. Nothing wrong with it for me. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. He goes on to talk about this. The two games we've had, had different back threes. We've played at that at times. At the moment, it suits us quite well and it is working. So that right there confirms to me that we are now sticking to a back three. We have gone back, guys, from the three. Everyone that was crying about the back three months ago, to play the back four, has now been thrown back to a three. I'll be honest with you. I think the issue with the back four is that I don't think we're balanced well enough. I don't still think we have, even though we've spent the money we have, we're still missing specific profile players, in my opinion. And I'm talking partly to do with the midfield as well. Even though we've got Enzo, and you know what I think about Enzo. He's just class, man. Again, can we do it with N'Golo Kante, maybe, with a back four? That's interesting. I mean, we know N'Golo Kante's training. He's not going to be ready, I don't think, for tomorrow. But it makes sense as to why we don't play the back four at the moment, because we're able to keep it clean. We're able to defend better. We're able to get the wing-backs more involved, who are then helping on the attack, which then gives us a better attack. Because what we've seen with the back four is that our attack is a bit stagnated. It still doesn't tick. The chemistry's not there. Even though we've got more offensive players on the pitch, they just struggle to link enough for me. It doesn't work for me. So at the moment, I get it. See you there, bro. See you there, Lewis. Big up to Electo as well. Sam says, Jim, if we lose tomorrow, we need you to go take another vacation. You want me to leave, Sam? You don't want to see Jim doing these streams anymore. Over 150 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are actually tuned in at the moment. Respect to all of you. Bobby says, big up, Jem. Big up to you, mate. Good to see you back. Nice to see Corey as well. Keep Kante for the Champions League is what we've got there. So nice to see you. We need two more midfielders to play a back four is what he's saying. Keep Keba, Cucurella, Badashide, Cooley, Fofana, Ruben is what Reece James Kingdom is saying there. Let's see if we've got any more in Tower. Any more news? We have. Got quite a bit more. What's going on here? He goes on to say, goals and wins bring confidence. That sounds obvious, it is, but it's how you get them. I'm not going to complain how they come because results have been difficult. Yep, I agree with him. Winning is winning. Mateo Kovacic, fantastic guy. Really like him. He's an important player for us. Again, I thought we had a very good game against Dortmund. Him and Enzo were fine, in my opinion. Yes, defensively, then it's not as tight. Yes, sometimes, we get a little bit caught with two players on the pitch who are better offensively going forward with the ball. But, it was a test because you played against a Dortmund team that, weren't going to show that much respect. If you do that against a lower level team, you know that you're going to have more of the ball. So it makes sense to play Mateo and Enzo because you're going to dominate the ball. So use your two midfielders to be the offensive ones, to get forward, to create, to do these things. But, it was a test against Dortmund because Dortmund weren't going to give us that, have a good midfield. They outnumbered us in the midfield, in my opinion, as well. But yeah, he had a good game. Can't complain. Oh, what happened there? So much flying out, man. He's talking about Leicester City as well. I'm not really bothered about that. I'm not going to get into that. Graham Potter, yeah, in some way, feeling less pressure. In some way, it's not something I can get too bogged down with. It's a nicer to win. I'm not getting carried away. It's only 2 wins. We have to focus on Leicester. Yeah, he can't get carried away. 2 wins is 2 wins. And yes, it obviously does help in terms of pressure from fans, owners, and whatever. But he can't win 2 and then on the back of it start losing games again. Because for me, you can't, he's not going to be able to sustain that. He needs to have some sort of build sustainability in the wins. He might draw a game here and there and then go on and win and win and win. I want to see that. I want to see that more, Oh, sorry guys, I was just checking something. I want to see that more. But yeah, let's see how we are against Leicester. I hope that I am not the curse. I hope that I go down there and we win the game. The supporters have been really fair. Want the team to do well. Results are we haven't done well. You understand the criticism. It's hard to get behind when the results aren't there. It's our job. Yeah, I mean, common sense. Really common sense. Marc Cucurella, who got a lot of stick starting the game against Dortmund, I got to say he was one of the best players on the pitch and actually looked very comfortable. He looked a different player for me. He had more energy. He looked like he was more on it, more involved, more hungry. Matty's not obviously happy because Potter winning means he has to see more of Potter. I get that. Big up to Louis in the house as well. Nice to see you. You were missed 3 wins on the bounce. Well, I hope so, bro. I hope so. Yeah, going back to what I was saying here. Cucurella's been good, man. It's got a little tricky trying to shield him and wait for the right time to put him in. I know how good his quality is. I thought he was good opportunity to show his quality and delighted he did. He had a good game. But now Marc Cucurella, like the other players, and as much as we bang on about Potter as well, and he is part of the issue when we lose games, or most of the issue when we lose games in terms of setup and man management, whatever. The players have to also be accounted for as well, because on the back of a win against Dortmund, I now want to see my team kick on. I want to see Chelsea kick on and go and really test Leicester. Go and play. Go and play. Go and play them. Go and have it with them is what I would say. So yeah, let's see. Anything else really worth talking? He's talking about Mount's contract there, isn't he? That's Cucurella. Um, Here's a little update on Mason Mount's contract. It goes, it's been the club and Mason. I've spoken to him numerous times and numerous situations, life and football. He's a fantastic person. Sometimes these things happen, complicated. It's best I speak little for them to decide what's right. Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's affecting Mason Mount. Maybe that's even affecting him getting into the team. Who knows? Maybe his mindset, I don't think his mindset is to leave Chelsea. I think his mindset is to get what he feels he deserves in terms of money. But at the same time, I don't think the owners are seeing eye to eye with him. And that's why we're having this dragged out affair with Mason Mount's contract. I'm not naive, and I know I know it's an important contract for him. These things have to be right for him and his family, and it's important to make decisions on that. But so basically, the answer to why there's such a long delay, I've been saying it for a very long time, is just because he's probably not happy with what the owners want to pay him or what the club want, what the club value him as 180, 200, 2. I don't get how we've gone from 250 to 180. I don't get that. Why would he turn down what Reece James is getting paid to then get offered even lower? That makes no sense to me. Is this? Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's kind of a pinch of salt to a degree because we've been told so many different things in terms of Mount and his contract that I'm not actually fully sure what's actually true. If that makes sense. Big up to Sammy Barnes in the house, bro. I hope you're good. He says he hopes he goes. He doesn't want him to stay. Yeah, as Vic said there, no Reece James. Sterling's a doubt as well. Aubameyang's a doubt. Kante's not available, but maybe for Everton, which is, again, a game I'm going to at home. We need 3 points this weekend. We need to make sure we are safe and sound. We're nowhere near safe and sound, Michael. But yeah, I hear you. We need the win. Mount's being lowballed is what Gary's saying. Potentially, again, we don't know the lengths of the discussions. We were told 250, we were told 300, we were told 180. Something's not making sense with it all. That's what I would say. And obviously, he wants the best for himself, his family, money wise, and what he feels he should be valued on. Whatever that is in his head, we'll see if it ends up getting solved or not. I don't think it's the wage, Jim. I think it's about squad role. I don't think it is about squad role because I think Graham Potter values Mason Mount. I think he would love to Mason Mount to be in the team more. I think what's the issue with Mount and maybe his overall performance is not only is he overplayed, in my opinion, is obviously to do off the pitch. And as much as he may support the team and this, that, and the other, if the people above are not valuing you in a certain way or not looking at you in a certain way, it's going to play in your mind a bit. I think it would do it to most players. Let's be honest, So I don't know. Maybe Mason Mount does leave. Who knows? It's going to be interesting. Big up to Daniel. It says there are several factors. 8 years of them. 8 years is one of them. I think it's untenable, is what he's saying. He will not sign. That's what Daniel said. Look, Daniel's a big Mason Mount fan as well. So that's interesting. We're going to get Daniel on very soon, actually. He's going to join me and we're going to discuss more, not only the game, but more on this Mason Mount discussion. But in the meantime, guys, hit the likes. We've got nearly 200 people in the chat already. Nice to see every single one of you back here as well. Subscribe, hit the likes, hit the thumb for me. If you've not hit the thumb, please hit the thumb for me now as well. It'd be great if you can do that for me. Let's do that. I think that's it. I think that was it. I think we're done. Let's just refresh. Yeah, I think it's done. And obviously, it is what it is. There's not more than that. Other than that, team news-wise, we know that N'Golo Kante is not available, but could be for the Everton game. Raheem Sterling's got a bit of a tight pain in his hamstring. He's not available. Reece James is ill, so he will not be available as well. So Reece James, Sterling, and Aubameyang, who's supposedly hurt his back from sitting on the bench too much. Supposedly, sitting on the bench too much. Felix, Havertz, Noni, front three, Mudryk, Pully on the wing backs. I don't think so. I think Ben Chua will start. We're going to do team lineups a bit later on in the show, 100%. So we'll do that, guys. Let's move on to what I had set up originally to go through. And obviously, what I would like to say, and I would like you all to say, is happy birthday to the best football club in the world, because it's it's Chelsea Football Club's birthday. Chelsea Football Club's birthday. And there's some beautiful images there of the progression of this football club, where we've gone to where we are now. the history, the game, everything. You know, this football club is huge. We are huge. We are elite. Not only are we elite from the men's side, we're also elite from the women's side. We were elite across all Ritz guys. We were elite in the reserve side. We were just elite. That is the best word. That is the best. We're just elite, guys. We are elite. Chelsea. Big up to Daniel. Big up to Leo in the house as well, and J Boy as well. Let's quickly, while we're on that topic, let's just rewind a couple years. Let's say couple years. The whole of Chelsea's achievements are detailed and broke to down here. 5 Premier Leagues has been won in our career, in our club's lifetime. 1 First Division, 2 Second Divisions, 8 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, 2, which could potentially be 3 Champions Leagues as well. 3 is a great number. I'd love to see the number 3. We've won the Europa League twice. And as a fact on the Europa League, guys, we have an 100% winning record. Every time we've entered the Europa League, we have won it. We've never been knocked out of it. We win it. We've got a 100% winning record. That is that's mad. 2 Cup winner cups as well, 2 Super Cups as well, and that 1 cup that we struggled to win for, well, the first time we tried to, the Club World Cup, the status of being the best team in the world is what we have won. And this is why we are the biggest, the best team in London. We are the biggest. We're the best colour, best everything, most money, you know, best at, when you look at our overall achievements, best overall achievement of any club in London. Run with that, guys. Any Arsenal fan, Spurs fan, any London fan tries to give it, we're bigger than that. No, you're not. All right. When you look at overall achievements, we have won it all. We are the biggest. We are the biggest. Sit down and shut up, the rest of them. That's all I would say. Sit down and shut up. It's facts, bro. Facts. Yeah, I get fed up with all these Arsenal fans tagging me. Oh, what happened to Chelsea? You're 10th. You're now a banter club. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You have to use your history now. Go and win the Premier League, guys. You just go and win the Premier League before you start coming over here and trying to dig us. Yeah, and win a Champions League. At least try and win 1. You can't even do that. You haven't won a European trophy, mate. Yeah, and the Spurs, I mean, there's nothing. What can a Spurs fan say to us, honestly? They can't say nothing. They can't say nothing to us. They can't say nothing, all right? When it comes to why Chelsea are the best club in London, just look at our overall achievements. That's it. I don't care if you've won more Premier Leagues. Have you won the Champions League? No. We are the best. We've won it all. We have won it all. Anything that's available, everything... Any competition that is available for Chelsea to go into and play, we have won. That is it. There's not much more to say. We've done it. Like, that is why we're the best. And we'll always be the best. Right. Quite interested. Just going to revert back to the Dortmund game real quickly, because obviously I wasn't here, and obviously I watched parts of what Andrew done, which again, big up to Andrew, smashed it, absolutely smashed it. Frank LeBeuf's talking about Jude Bellingham. I watched Jude Bellingham closely over the last 2 games against Chelsea, and I don't think, and I keep saying to you guys, Enzo Fernandez over Bellingham, 100%. When you look at the profile of player and what we have, Enzo Fernandez is what we need. Now, I'm not saying Jude Bellingham's an absolutely shocking player. He's not. He's not. I like Jude Bellingham. He's a very good player. But what I've seen of him for Dortmund against us in them 2 months, I mean, he should have scored. Let's be serious. He completely fuffed up. I think he's better in terms of arriving in the box, being a magnet. But I think what Frank LeBeuf's saying here is right. To spend 120 plus million on Jude Bellingham now for Chelsea, in terms of profile of player, I don't think it's the right player in the midfield that we need. He is not the player we need at Chelsea. The players that we do need is more of a sitter of the two, someone that can maybe hold back and allow Enzo to just run forward and link play and do them beautiful balls that he does and the progressive passing, because that's his ability. That's how you're getting the best out of the baller, the class, the king, in my opinion. He's that good. Like, that is how you get the best out of Enzo Fernandez. And you know what's mad? Enzo's only been playing for 3 years in professional football. Of course, he's got a lot to learn still. I'm not saying he's a complete article. He's not. You know, but he will only get, in my opinion, he will only get better, providing that we put better, you know, the right profile of players around him. And with Enzo, he needs to be the future for me in terms of how we play him and get the best of him. And obviously because of the money we spend on him as well. But, you know, what he then goes on to talk about is striker. I think there's a good shout that we will do that this summer. And I think by the sounds of it, the club itself have noticed that we need a striker. We know Kai Havertz is not a striker. Listen, big up to Kai Havertz the last game round. He was unbelievable. If Kai Havertz could play like that every game, I don't think, you know, it'd keep a lot of fans quiet. But what it wouldn't keep fans quiet on is the goal scoring. Because he would still, even if he played like he did, he still wouldn't score as many goals that we need or ask for in terms of a number 9 and require from a number 9. But if you're winning games where Kai Havertz is playing like that and the team around him and chemistry are benefiting and Felix is contributing and Sterling scoring goals and Mudryk's then, you know, comes alive and, you know, we're all benefiting from it because, you know, the overall performance is better, then that's a different story, because then you could look at it and go, well, do we actually need a number 9 because we're contributing across the team? And that's something that some of the old Chelsea teams used to do. It wasn't always about the number 9. It was always about contribution from players across the pitch, whether it was a Pedro, whether it was a Willian, whether it was a Hazard, whether it was whoever, Mata, for example, back in the day. You know, you can get the whole team to contribute and Havertz can still, you know, maybe not score 20, 30 goals, but get 12, 13, 14 goals. But we're all scoring 12, 13, 14 goals. Just say 3 of the forward line scoring double digits, then it makes it easier to not have a striker. But that's the only way that Kai Havertz, for me, stays as a number 9. I keep telling you guys, and I've been saying it a long time to people, Kai Havertz needs a freedom role. Kai Havertz needs to be able to do what he's doing. I know people go, yeah, but you're accommodating for it. But that, like what we saw there from Dortmund is what he can do. You know, and that he has a very good quality, Kai Havertz. And not only was he good with his touch, I've said he's got a technical. He can. He has got the ability to bring balls down and whatever. But his decision-making was better to the point where he's now picking up the right passes and people running through. Even before the Dortmund game, he was the highest creative player in our team. He wasn't the greatest. All right, he wasn't having the greatest performances, but you know, his performance. He's in terms of creating for the team, he was the highest in that team again. And it's just mad. Like, I know people don't like to hear it, but that is the truth. You know, the overall performances are not great. I agree, but you know, it's an interesting one. See how Kai Havertz moves forward. Now, Chelsea are at a risk of missing a couple of players. It says Chelsea players at risk of missing the second leg of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final if they pick up a yellow card. So one more yellow card for any of the below players would risk them missing out the second leg of the quarter-finals, basically. They're the list of names. They are the list of the names. So I don't know. You know, there's some key players there. Thiago Silva, who's out injured at the moment. So will he be back? Potentially, maybe. Reece James, big player. Koulibaly. His performances have been so much better when he's the middle of the three. Like, he's impressed me, Koulibaly. Like, I always thought with Koulibaly, he needs a bit of time. Even when people say sack him, get rid of him, I said just give him a bit of time and see if we can find his form. You know, he was good, very good. Conor Gallagher's not a big miss for me, in my opinion. Just no, isn't. Mudryk doesn't even play, so not too bad. I don't see Kepa getting a yellow card unless he time delays. But then obviously Enzo Fernandez for me is a big one. You know, we've got to be careful with that. You know, we could get away maybe losing him for one game, but if it's the second leg of a quarter-final and you're 1-0 up and you're going for it, you know, all right, Kante's back. You know, we could get away with a Kante and Kovacic, maybe. Don't get me wrong, but that's we've got to be careful. We've definitely got to be careful. on that. Guys, over 250 of you here. We're going to open up the line soon and get people involved as well. But smash the likes, as always. Let's try and share this with as many people as possible. People that are new here, please subscribe as well to the channel. Big up, my guy Lee. How you doing? He says, big shout out to Winter Surf. Oh, yeah, mate, honestly, he smashed it. He done a real good job. I appreciate everything that he done. 100% there. But what's the next thing I was going to revert to? Obviously, this, actually. This is the next thing that I am going to revert to, which is funny, quite interesting. The 4 teams to qualify for the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals in 2012 was Chelsea, Benfica, AC Milan, and Bayern Munich. The 4 teams that are qualified in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals in 2023 is Chelsea, Benfica, AC Milan, and Bayern Munich. Chelsea went on to face Benfica in the quarterfinals. Now, I've got a feeling, I keep saying it, that we will get Benfica. We will do a Champions League quarterfinal discussion, obviously. We'll be doing that. But I've just got this feeling, the whole thing with Enzo Fernandez, Rui Costa, the owners, Chelsea, and they're on good form at the moment. Benfica are playing very well, by the way. Not a bad team. But in terms of playing them, I wouldn't mind AC Milan, but I'm not going to that game again. I am definitely not going to the San Siro to watch that. That was a nightmare trying to get out of the San Siro last time around. I'm confident against AC Milan. I'm confident against Bayern Munich. Not Bayern Munich. Confident against Benfica. Bayern Munich are the ones you've got to stay away from. But I've got this feeling. When we get Benfica in the quarters. I really do. And then it will be then for us to kick on, beat them. It'll be Enzo against his old team. I don't know if he'll be able to play, actually. That's another thing, we'll have to see. Nearly 300 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in the chat. Smash the likes. 30 minutes in. Chelsea versus AC Milan, not Bayern Munich, is what Andy's saying. Bayern versus Real, we need to see it, is what Trudeau. Yeah, I've just got this feeling it's going to be Benfica, man. I really do. Really, really do. I can hear myself speaking again. I don't know why. I can hear myself speaking. See myself speaking on both. Let me just quickly sort this out. But yeah, man. Of course he can play. Yeah, we bought him, didn't we? Of course he can play. There's nothing that says that he can't play. Right, let's move on to the next bit before we get into the Leicester discussions, the Leicester review. We're going to talk a little bit about what's some just Chelsea news, overall news, basically. And obviously it goes on to talk about Kai Havertz, who Chelsea's newly reconstructed recruitment team are well aware that Kai Havertz is not an ideal number 9, and their lack of time was the primary barrier to the club pursuing a true striker in an incredibly busy January window. I understand that. I also don't think that we would have been able to have got the striker that we want in a January market, and that's fine. That's cool. But then it has to be addressed in the summer. If that, if that is the case, in my opinion. And a Victor Osimhen, a Vlahovic, these type of players, they'll all be available in the summer. It's just whether you're going to be able to bargain them out. We know Napoli are not easy to do deals with in the past. They're not. But I do expect a striker to come in. We've got Nkunku coming in as well. At the time, I thought we might actually use Nkunku to be one of the strikers and play someone close to him. Felix, if we get him. Havertz, if he stays. That's what I thought we might have done. But now I'm starting to think more and more that we probably go and get a striker. And let me tell you something now. If that is the case, that we are going to pursue for a striker, we are not signing João Felix. We're just not. We are not getting João Felix. The only way we get João Felix is if we're selling Kai Havertz. No, even then I'm not too sure. I mean, if we're going to go and spend 100 odd million on a striker, we're not spending 80 million on João Felix. I just don't see that happening. But then it just depends on what we can get him for a Flego. Could we get him on another loan? I don't know. These are things that we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the striker. I do expect us to look in that area. Let's quickly highlight Mason Mount's contracts quickly, and then we'll go on to the game itself. Mason Mount could be available for around 50 million, and it's increasingly likely he leaves Chelsea. Chelsea's latest offer was understood to be worth around 180,000 a week. A lot of these journalist comments and articles on Mason Mount from since his contract was up to this point have not really made sense to me. There's been a lot of wishy-washy different figures that have been thrown at us. We were told 300k, we were told 250k, we were told now 180k. It don't make no sense to me. We've started from the top. I know we're working our way down to the bottom. And apparently he's turned down the idea of a 250k away. I'm not sure. I don't think we've offered him 300k, but supposedly look to pay him the same as what Reece James on, which I don't get why he would not accept if he was offered that. I just don't think he's been offered that. I think a lot of that was just journalist talk, in my opinion. I don't know how true that was. The 180k a week probably sounds more likable. The dispute between him and the owners is definitely part of the reason why we're not seeing much more game time of him on the pitch, in my opinion. I don't think, I definitely think that's got an adverse effect on it all. Could he go? Potentially, yeah. If he's not accepting what the owners are putting forward, maybe the owners don't value him in that way. Maybe that's the case. Maybe they feel from what they've seen to this point that maybe he's not worth 250,000. As much as some people might not like to hear it. I don't know. But obviously, the real adverse effect on everything with Mason Mount is to just do with, what we're willing to pay him. And what we're willing to pay him is what's, the stagnation in terms of why we're not moving forward. I don't know. At the end of the day, Mason Mount's got to think for himself, right? If 180,000 a week's not enough for him and he wants 250, but the owners don't want to give him 250, then maybe there's a middle ground where, we go back and we offer him 220 or 215 and he accepts it. Maybe that happens. I'm not saying that Mason Mount is completely and utterly finished now. He's going. I think we will try and keep him. I think the owners will. I think Graham Potter wants him to stay. I don't see us just getting rid of him. Look at Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs, yeah? The Ben Jacobs. Let's have a quick look. The Ben Jacobs. I don't see anything from Ben Jacobs on Mason Mount. Am I going blind there? I ain't seen Ben Jacobs in a while. Might have to get him on soon. Oh yeah, I've got it. All right, let's read Ben Jacobs' most recent comments that have just come out. Recent comments that have come out on Mason Mount and his discussions on contracts. So this was 13 minutes ago from Ben Jacobs. Big up to him. I hope he's well. He originally said that Potter and Mason Mount's contracts, which I won't go into, you can read that. But he's basically said here, Mount and Chelsea have been some way apart on terms. Chelsea have made multiple offers that Mount has turned down. Chelsea value Mount, but any agreement must be in keeping with the new incentive-driven wage structure, including decreases for lack of UCL. As reported, LFC interest is genuine. So he's saying that if that Liverpool interest is genuine, that it is there. He's also saying that there's a structure on the wage. And maybe what Mason Mount wants is maybe what he would have got under Roman, but maybe just not under these new owners because it falls out of the incentive bracket of the wage structure of the club. That is fair enough. What I said to you guys, and he maybe ain't happy with that. Maybe he feels he needs more money. If that's the case, then that's on Mason Mount. Let's be serious. If he doesn't want to accept 180, 200 because he wants 250 because Reece has got it, and they don't want to give it to him, then it's on him to not want to be here for 180, 200. I still think he was paid 80 grand and now he's being given 180. All right, I get why maybe he turned that away. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I do feel there will be a 200k offer to him. It's just how close to the bracket is it of the structure, the way the structure that they have set up for the team. You got to bear in mind people like Enzo Fernandez that we've signed and whatever are on peanuts. It's the players that we have brought in are on peanuts. João Felix ain't. João Felix on a loan deal, and what he's taking is a lot of money. Maybe it's kind of affecting what we can potentially do at the moment or offer. I don't know, but I do think there will be. I think Potter want him to stay. I think the owners want him to stay. I don't think it's a negative vibe. I just think it's more of a finding a middle ground, finding the way of making him happy, but then the owners not also cutting off their thumb to keep him. Right? And that's where I think it is. I don't think there's nothing more to it than what I've just said there. Big up to everyone in the chat. Over 300 people in the house as well. Big up to you. Mount doesn't do enough for me to miss him. That's how Couch feels about it. On him, Chelsea fans can be stupid sometimes. They love to shoot themselves in the foot. I think the way that the fan base feel is morally to do with how we played this season and him being involved in it, because he has been playing games and it just hasn't worked. But that's fine, in my opinion, because he has been decent in the past couple of seasons. In my opinion, he's allowed to have a bit of a blip, is the answer to that. But the contract side of it is completely different to what we've seen on the pitch. And part of maybe why we're not seeing him on the pitch more than anything is maybe because of the agreement with we're not having the agreement with the owners to a degree. I don't think it's because Potter doesn't want him on the pitch. I think Potter does. But then it's just finding how to get the best out of him and whatever else. And that's another story. But, at the moment, him and the owners need to sort out whether he's staying or going and whether they can find the middle ground, whether it works, Big up to Kazim as well. Kazim, I see you moving mad on the terrace. Someone sent me it across. You're funny, man. You are funny, bro. I've got to say, big up to you, man. Big up to him. Go and check him out on his channel, QNTV. Don't agree with what he says, I'll be honest with you, but he doesn't agree with what I have to say, and that's football. We're all allowed our opinions. There's no right or wrong answer in it. We're not the owners. We don't run Chelsea. We're just fans that have a feeling of how we can get the best of of our club, bro. That's all it is. That is all it is, man. That is all it is. Felix is a better player. Yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and dwell too much on the Mason Mount stuff because it gets boring, man. I just want to know whether or not we're going to, meet the structure, if he's going to stay or not. We're going to find out, guys. We're going to find out. Right, let's move on to the actual game tomorrow. I am going. I will be there. Let's quickly have a look at, before we do the lineup, let me just quickly drop this in because I did say to him he can come in quickly before we get the panel in as well. Let's get my boy in. There he is. Because he's a big Mount fan as well, actually. So it'd be quite interesting to see what he has to say. We're going to do the lineup, Lawrence. We're going to do the lineup in a second. I'm just going to quickly do the head-to-heads, and then we're going straight into the lineup, yeah? And we'll do that all together, guys. But in the meantime, smash the likes, as always. Quickly, bit of build-up news to this game. Chelsea have Chelsea versus Leicester, or Leicester versus Chelsea. This is the record. We've won 8, lost 3, drawn 6. There's been 26 goals scored against them, with 14 goals conceded against them. Our most recent matches at home were 2-1 wins and a draw. The last game away that we played them, we won 3-0. Quite a comfortable win. Saturday, the 20th of November, 2021. When you look at the form guide, it's quite good, this. They've never done this before, Chelsea website. This is a better layout because now I can actually break it down. We can look at the recent wins. We can look at how many goals were scored against. This is quite good. Like all this. Form-wise, we can see it there. We're in 10th. They're in 15th. We've played the same amount of games, but 10 points ahead of Leicester. Our form is equally as bad as each other, even though they've lost 3. They've lost the last 3 games and won 2. We've drawn 2, lost 2, won 1. Hopefully we're turning the corner now, but they're on a bit of a rut. 3 losses in a row, Leicester, not in real great form. This is the type of game that could fire them up, and we're going to have to be ready. Chelsea are going to have to be ready for this. We can't go in playing how we have been playing, not in the last 2 games, but prior to them 2 games. Yeah, even the Leeds game wasn't impressive, in my opinion. It was actually quite poo. I want to see a Premier League performance. I want to see my team play and link and do what they did in the Dortmund game. I really want to see that. Right, what we got here? 10 from training Thursday sessions. What's this? Picture of Ben Chilwell. Is that it? What is this? What is this? What am I looking at? The preview. Oh, right. It breaks it down there. Yeah, I don't need to do all this. Anyway, you guys can check that all out. All I wanted to do was cover this part of it as well. So we all know where we're at in terms of the game itself. Big up to Dan in the chat. Before we move on to the team lineups as well. Dan, how we doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
All right, mate. You know, I'm enjoying. I wasn't far away from you actually. I was in Dominican Republic. You know,
Hey, Dominicana.
I was
That's nice.
enjoying something called Mamawana. I don't know if you know that.
Okay. I don't, but it sounds nice. Sounds tropical.
It's I can't really say what it is specifically, but the way they explain it is it's a bit like a Viagra. It's a drink. It's an alcoholic drink that gives you a bit of a pump. And they kept saying to me, "It gives you a pump. It gives you a pump. Drink this. Drink this. Drink this." So they
and you drink it, and did it work? It worked. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, something like that. But it was a very good holiday. I got a good colour from it, as you can see as well, so I can't complain. But how you been, bro? I mean, I haven't spoke to you obviously since the last 2 games. So before we talk about Leicester and whatever else, I mean, what's your thoughts on the last 2 games? What you're seeing?
Performance, haven't been moved, but I've been so tired of losing for so long and not winning that I was just happy to win, man. I was just really, really happy to win. As long as we win, any way possible. Like, I didn't really care about how we won. I saw there were people complaining about certain things in the game, and I'm like, listen, man, I've been losing for so long in this season. I'm not used to it, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? So whether you have an agenda against the manager, you want him gone or whatever, I'd rather he wins every game to the season's end. You know what I'm saying? Because that bodes well for us. That means we win something, and that means he also I don't know. He also proves us wrong, right? For those of us who don't trust him.
Yeah,
I'm always like, the mark of a foolish man is a man who can't change his mind, right? Who thinks he knows it all, and there's not a possibility for, even if I don't believe in Potter, there's not a possibility for him to prove me wrong. There's a possibility, but you have to keep winning. Keep winning every game. Keep the performances up, and yeah, I'll be happy with that.
Look, I wasn't really shocked with the Dortmund performance because I could kind of see it happening, the way it was built up with the fans going down there early, the energy. What won Chelsea that game against Dortmund? Not only was it partly the players, it was a lot of it for me with the fans, the energy around the patch. Like, I know a couple of people that were at the game as well, and they were saying like it was just the buzz. They've not seen this buzz for months, even year. Like, it's not that energy, and it's mad what energy can do for the team and the manager. Even Potter looked more. What's the word? Like, I criticised him in the past for just not looking active, just sitting there, not, but like he didn't care. But even in this game, he looked like, he's picking up on the energy from the fans, and he was getting up and he was shouting, like it just felt more. Does that make sense? Like, it just felt there was more. Yeah,
it felt like the players understood, and he had understood this game was super important. You lose this game, you're basically 1 foot out, right? So, and they all showed up. The fans showed up. He showed up. Everybody showed up for that game and wanted to really, really win. Everyone. It wasn't to me, it wasn't a great game, but we got through it. We had some good chances. We finished. And that's good. So, yeah, I think that's really what it was. Right now, we have to see how that plays out in the Premier League too, right? With teams who, just sit back, don't really care about winning. It's not the Champions League where you have, like, once we score the first goal, they had to come at us, right? So to open up space, we played, they basically played into our game, especially in the back three, right? But now you're going to the next game. How do you figure that out without, all these different?
Is he gone? Dan, you're gone.
Yeah, sorry. Got a call. I was just saying, like, how do you translate the Champions League to the Premier League?
That's the question, man. And when we used to say as Chelsea fans that this crop of players is more of a cupped team, rather than
Yeah.
a domestic team,
Yeah.
it probably makes sense, doesn't it? You know, the one-off
Yeah.
games where you need a bit of energy and you can, you know, progress on that win to the next. Like that's what it feels like when you've been watching us in the last sort of couple of seasons. But you're right, domestically we've been a huge letdown, and we need to start seeing more consistency. And this is what kind of worries me going in tomorrow, because we can play like that, Dan, and then tomorrow I'm hoping it's not the case, but then Sunday we're sitting here moaning about losing 2-0. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, how do we go from that to that? And that's my biggest problem with us at the moment. It's like we go from that kind of performance where you should just then kick on and kick on and kick on to maybe being the complete opposite, making no chances in front of goal, not passing, looking like they don't know each other again, not making runs. And it's just like, I just hope that we get that buzz just carries on now and we just kick on and we start seeing a bit of sustainability in our performances. So
Yeah,
we'll see. We will see. In terms of what it may do in terms of the squad tomorrow and how it may affect us, as partly is obviously Reece James and Sterling are out. That doesn't help. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
We know Mason Mount's not available now. We've been told as well. Aubameyang's hurt his back from sitting on the bench too much, by the sounds of it, as well. So, you know, we're missing some key players again. I don't think it changes the overall setup, Daniel. Do you think it'll be a back three going into the game tomorrow?
Possibly. I think it could be a back three with RLC. I think that's what he played the Leeds game, was RLC as the wing back, because Reece James couldn't play that game as well, right? He was rested. He had a tight hamstring or something like that. So yeah, I think a back three is fine. You just, plug in RLC into that role instead of Reece. You keep the same lineup basically. Most of the players you mentioned that were injured weren't starting anyway, so I don't think in terms of the starting lineup, in terms of the squad, it's going to be a problem. If we have to make changes off the bench, but in terms of the starting lineup, I think we should be fine with what we have. Yeah, Sterling is unfortunate, but we do have Madueke, right?
We'll go through it. Anyway. We're gonna go through the lineups now, and put out the team that we think will start. How impressed have you been with Kepa?
Not impressed.
I was waiting for you to say that. Do you not feel he had a good game against Dortmund?
Yeah, I think he had a good game. Did he have an impressive game? No. I mean, Dortmund didn't really cause us any problems, like the defensively, right? But he did make a good save. I remember the
free kick,
a free kick, Royce.
Yeah.
But I mean, Royce placed that perfectly, but he didn't hit that with any power. It dropped so slow. I can be critical if I want to, but I don't need to be. There's no.
Yeah.
He was good. He wasn't great. I'm not really like the evidence that he's built for me for 3 years hasn't changed because of the last, couple of months. You know what I'm saying? Like it just hasn't. First of all, every time he's tested from distance, it's still a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I agree with you. When people get a bit, because I've seen a couple comments on Twitter saying, "Have we found our number one goalie? He deserves it. He's got the most clean sheets, like Courtois." In his like, I'm just like, for what he's in better run of form. We can't knock him for that. He is looking better from what we've seen. But what we saw before was atrocious. There was no middle ground. It was just atrocious. So it's gone from being atrocious to being good. Better than maybe we expected to a degree. I'll give him that, right?
Yeah,
but
we also faced the lowest quality shots in terms of big chances. Like we've in terms of the league this year, we faced the least. So our defense is like really, really, really good with that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just said the Royce shot. He placed it well, but it dropped really, really slow. He shuffled twice to get that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't dive standing to touch that. He shuffled twice, which means the ball was dropping extremely slow. When Ward-Prowse did it, did he save that?
Yeah.
No, he didn't, right? Because that was, placed with
I mean,
so let's not. I don't need to criticize him, but don't tell me I'm hating because I'm not trusting the guy.
It's not hate, but it's not fully being on the bandwagon of saying he's our number one. I don't think he is. For me, the goalie. But I'll put it this way. In terms of going to win the league, do I feel that Kepa's the right goalie for us to go and do that for 38 games? I'm not too sure.
I mean, for now, he's not a problem, so there's no need to even talk about.
But now it's not a problem. Don't get me wrong. I
it's not a
think what I
problem.
will say about him is I think he's very good with his feet. I think he moves the ball well. I think he's comfortable in that. I'm just still not sure about his overall abilities.
Yeah,
In my opinion, that's all. You know, like it's not. He's been good that he has, but at the same time, people forget little games where he still fucked up. The one where he let it roll across the goal and they tapped it in the back post. Who was that against? Where you could have just come out and caught it. What game was that at home? We lost it. Was it Man United? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was Man United? Yeah, where the ball rolled across the goal and he just let it roll. But there was little games still where we were like, Kepa, what are you doing? Kepa, what are you doing? What the fuck was that? Was like there were moments. It's not like he didn't do that. He can make a mistake. Listen, it's not just. Was it City? Yeah, it was City. It was a City game at home where he let it run across. That's it. Yeah. And I remember us moaning about that as well. And, you know, I'm not 100% comfortable with him from corner still. I really worry when the balls come in. He's not a big domineering figure. But I don't want to stay on Kepa, right? He's doing all right at the moment. He doesn't need to be moved. I'm not saying he gets dropped or anything. I'm just saying moving forward, is he the perfect goalie for Chelsea when competing? That's all. That's all I will say. Yeah.
Like I said earlier, right? You know, give me more evidence, I'll change my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't slandered him. I haven't, said he should try. Last year, I didn't want him to touch the pitch whatsoever. Like, don't, because he was just terrible, right? But this year,
he's not Alisson level. He's not Alisson level. Josh. You can't. This is like other goalies make mistakes. It's not like there's levels to this.
But you do this the rest of the season. You do this next season because we're not winning the league next season. But if you prove that you're good enough for us to be our keeper to win the league next season, so I do think he should be the keeper next season, right? I do think he should be the keeper next season. What more do people want? Like us to follow our sword for him and say, "Nah, he's the best keeper in the world." Like, no, we know we still know that if our defensive structure hasn't been better as a whole, and our defensive players playing well, if they take shots from distance at any point, we know what's happening. I feel like I know what's happening. But that hasn't happened much this season for us. Teams aren't hitting it from 30, 40
To be fair, he has saved a few of them so far.
He has what?
He has saved a few little pop shots. They have tried it a few times against him, and he has saved them.
Yeah, of course he has. I'm not. Look,
percentage goes up. I don't listen. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I don't want to stay on Kepa.
Listen, you guys want to forget what we saw in the past. That's on you guys. I'm not saying that, but that did happen. And all I'm saying is moving forward, is he having a good season? Yeah. Does he deserve to be dropped? No. Should we have anyone else? No. Do we need to see more and more consistency in his performances? Yes. Like, and there's nothing. It's just the thing. People, as soon as you say things about something, so people think you hate straight away. It's not hate. It's just. But this whole fan base was on one side of the Richter scale with Kepa at one point.
And now they're on the other side completely.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm fully on that side still. I'm just saying I want to see, like I say to most of them, consistency. But let's move forward. Hassan, big up to you, mate. Hope you're well. Hassan, does Badiashile get dropped on the left side for Cucurella tomorrow? Or do you think it'll be Cucurella? Who do you think? Badiashile? What do you think?
Since he's been fully rested, I think it would be. I mean, have we got a game next week?
Have we got a game?
No, we do. Then it's a 2-week break after. Yeah, because we're knocked out of the FA Cup. So yeah, I mean, I think Cucurella will probably be on the bench. I do think Badiashile will start, and the abuse that Cucurella was getting and stuff like that. I think Potter needs to manage him in games where he think he would do well and rotate him in and out, get him back into form and get him back into confidence. And why not put Badiashile in there? He's been quite strong for us. He's hit the ground running, and he's quite solid at the back. So why not? I do think he'll go with Badiashile, and I think he'll probably bring on Cucurella in the second half or something like that. I think our focus is to probably try maintaining the win, maintaining a clean sheet, and Badiashile's clean sheet record's not looking that bad at the moment. So yeah, I do think he will definitely start.
Who's that? Badiashile, did you say?
Yeah, Badiashile.
I mean, Dan, do you think Cucurella, after his performance against Dortmund, will get dropped now? What happens now? It gives him a bit of a problem, Grandpa. A good problem, obviously, but how would you start this?
I don't think it's a problem at all. I think but it surely has to start. You know what I mean? Like, if people haven't noticed, we don't concede a lot from corners late in game, like we have, because he's there and he's winning the ball a lot on the defensive end. We weren't tested in that way against Dortmund. Again, the Premier League is just different, right? Like everything is just different in the Premier League, and he's been playing well. So, but it surely has to start for me. And he had a great game against Fulham. I mean, the game prior. Sorry,
I think Badiashile's been great since he's come to Chelsea. I really do. He's impressed me quite a lot. If he plays on the left, obviously we'll talk about that. I mean, the two next to him has to be. I just asked you both: Koulibaly and Fofana.
100%. Right? Yeah.
100%. I don't see anyone else starting.
Has Koulibaly impressed you from what we have seen to this point now?
You know what? He's been he's better in this system, obviously, as the central center back, because he's very aggressive. You know what I mean? Just kind of how like David Luiz played in that system, and it helps hide his flaws. So he's been good. He's another one I have to see a lot more from at Chelsea to, change my mind about him. Us, changing our system so he can start. Because still in the back four, I'm worried if he gets dragged out wide, and in the back three, if he plays on that left side, it's not good. So. But in the central places, he's been good. He's been decent so far in the last couple of games. Yeah,
I hear you, bro. I hear you. AJ and Don have joined us as well. Let's start with Don quickly. I mean, big up to you, bro. Nice to see you here. The back three, the back three for the Leicester game. I mean, we've dropped Cucurella for Badiashile on this one. I mean, what do you think looking at it?
Does Cucurella warrant being dropped after that performance?
Has Badiashile been bad?
That's the thing. Well, yeah. I don't mind. Look, if we started Cucurella, I wouldn't mind it. And I wouldn't mind Badiashile stepping in. So I'm happy with that back three. But if you guys went with Cucurella, I would understand that as well, to be honest.
What is Mitrovic playing?
I think is he not injured?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's fit and we think he's playing. We need Badiashile's height.
The thing about Leicester, I've watched them, right? I watched them against United. I watched them against Arsenal. They've got no threat whatsoever up top. They've got Kelechi, right? I think actually Badiashile will be better for this game, to be honest, just because Kelechi is quite physical. He's good at holding up the ball. I think Badiashile will be able to deal with that a lot more than Cucurella. But again, if Cucurella was in there, I wouldn't be against it. But thinking about it now, when I think of Kelechi and Nacho, he's quite good at holding up the ball. But Leicester on the attack, man, they are terrible. Like, they are a terrible team. So yeah, I'm happy with that back three, to be honest.
Leicester, he can play against. Height doesn't really matter against Leicester because they don't have a lot of tall forwards.
Yeah.
Kelechi and Nacho is quite good at holding up the ball.
That's he is, but
if you're up against physicality, I would say Badiashile would be better for this one.
Mitrovic don't play for Leicester. He plays for Fulham.
I know I was thinking Fulham.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I said Mitrovic.
Yeah. I was thinking Fulham. I was thinking Fulham.
AJ, how you doing, bro?
Yo, big up, man. Welcome back, bro.
Thank you,
I'm
man.
good.
Thank you.
Yo, regarding Cucurella and Badiashile, I'm not sure. This is actually not a problem for Potter, but I believe this is one of the decisions, and I think you kind of got to go with the consistency and with the just continuing to show that trust in Cucurella. I'm gonna say that before the game against Dortmund, I didn't want Cucurella to start, but he proved me wrong, and I think he proved a lot of people wrong. I mean, we knew he was a good player, but he actually stepped up finally. So I think in this moment, you probably have to stick with Cucurella. It's kind of tough. Just drop, unless he's playing wing back for Chilwell, but I mean, he played center back, so.
Nah, I don't. I think Chilwell's our best wing back. If we play this system, I think Chilwell's our best.
I agree.
I'll be honest. Leicester are that bad. I'm comfortable with either starting. But if I had to pick between the two, just based off who they've actually got up top, I'd probably say Badiashile, physicality-wise, would be a better option up against Kelechi. But Leicester are terrible, man.
Yeah, they are. But
I'm not even saying it.
we know what happens when we allow teams that are terrible to play Chelsea, right? So this is not.
Yeah, let's not take anything for granted in terms of.
Listen, I'm not ruling them out completely, but I'll be more than disappointed. I'm supposed to be going tomorrow as well. I'll be more than disappointed if we don't come away with 3 points from them, because I've watched them a few times this season and they're not good, man. They're terrible.
All right, let's move on to wing backs and let's start with the left end. There's been, I mean, we have to be careful, right? Because obviously Ben Chilwell, we've seen it pass. You overplay him, you know, he gets injured. But at the same time, if he's playing well and he's got his fitness, you want him to play. Obviously, we do have Cucurella, who could potentially play there. I mean, Dan, do you think this is a game Chilwell will play, or do you think we might rest him just on the basis of how close the Dortmund game was to it?
You know what it is? Once you mention the injury part, then it's giving me pause. Like, at first, my answer was going to be, you have to play Chilwell. Like, you have to play Chilwell. He's the best left wing back that we have. But considering that he does tend to get injured when he plays several games in a row, niggling injuries here and there, puts him out for 4 games, 5 games. I don't know. Maybe you do play Cucurella there. I don't know.
What do the rest of it? I mean, let's go to Hassan. Hassan, what do you say? Chilwell or Cucurella?
It's a bit of a weird one, because as you stated, if we do tend to overplay him and someone puts in a tackle on him while he's being a little bit strained, he will get that sort of injury. It's also a weird one because Cucurella, like everyone knows, like if he plays bad, agendas will start to run, start getting toxic again, and I think, even though it's a bit risky, I think Chilwell does probably start. And I do believe that Cucurella will come off second half. I genuinely believe that he would. And we do need some sort of stability and all-round left back to go attack and defense. So
I just want to say something real quickly about this Mudryk money. We don't want to see... Listen, like, have we not seen it in the past when we play wingers in wing-back roles? It's just not right. You're asking Mudryk, who does not really like defending, to be able to do both.
Mudryk is not even ready for the Prem properly yet. And you're asking him to do one of the demanding roles.
Go watch the game against Brighton and watch when Sterling and who was the other winger that played that game? Wing back. Yeah, watch that game. Go watch that game and remind yourself what happened.
You just can't.
And guess who was left center back in that game?
No.
Cucurella. He was getting cooked 1v1.
Mudryk. No.
Listen, don't do that. If you don't do that to him, man. You can't do that. Like, guys, we can't. We're playing well as a team. Like, at least they're fighting for each other and everything else. And defensively, he's been good. Do you ruin that by putting 2 wingers as wingbacks? Don't do that, please.
It's the same as playing fullbacks as wingbacks, but that ain't true though, because ain't Chilwell meant to be a fullback? Yeah, well, it's the same as playing fullbacks as wingbacks. Oh no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I hear you, Josh. I think. Look, all right. So, what's the overall vote then? Cucurella or Chilwell?
I say Chilwell.
Chilwell.
I don't want to make
Chilwell will play the first half.
Chilwell. Dan, you said Cucurella, didn't you?
Yes,
I think Chilwell, and then like Hassan said, see out the game and bring Cucurella on in the second half.
AJ, Cucurella or Chilwell?
I mean, I'm just gonna go with the fact that I want Potter to stick with what we were doing last game, so I'm gonna say Cucurella center back and Chilwell left wing back. All
right, so we'll get Chilwell then. It is Chilwell. Let's go Chilwell.
I have a bad feeling about this.
All right, I'll be quick with the right side. Obviously, Azpilicueta, I'm assuming, is available, but Ruben is another player that we've seen being played out there as well. Reece James is out, we've been told, so he's ill. So who plays out there is the question. Is it Ruben? Is it Aspi? What do you think we'll do?
It has to be Ruben, bro.
Has to be Ruben. Has to be Ruben.
We all saying Ruben, but Potter would probably go Aspi. No,
defensively, yeah, defensively.
I'm not going Aspi. I don't know how he's feeling. I mean, obviously I'm not at the training.
Aspi's a right center back, mate.
How he's feeling, you know. He had a bad injury, and we need a win. I'm not risking it. I'm going either Ruben or Chala, but that's my only 2 options.
Yep. Jem, don't forget he'll be up against Aspilicueta. Will be up against Harvey Barnes. That is not something I want to see.
Yeah, but is Ruben defensively good up and
Yeah,
down?
no,
the wing?
Ruben is getting cooked too. Like,
But he's athletic at least, he could keep in front, kinda, Aspie will just he'll just run around Aspie, Ruben will put up a physical battle.
Fofana will be a difference maker.
Could we see Madueke out there? Could it actually happen?
Nah.
Could it happen though? I'm just saying. Big up to Winter Surfer. Thank you. I mean, I did say thank you for doing the shows while I was away, mate. You've done a great job. Appreciate it as always. And yeah, big shout out to Winter Surfer on that one. Big up to him. Ruben at right. All right. Okay. I think it's going to be Ruben. I'll be honest with you.
I'll go with Ruben. I feel safer with him there than Aspie. I've just seen Aspie get cooked too much this season, man. Defensively, Ruben's not the best, but Aspilicueta, I think we should only use him in emergency situations. He shouldn't be playing anymore. And this isn't an emergency.
There's anything we haven't seen already this year. That's true, especially when he's out there.
Comes on, in the last 20 minutes or so.
So
yeah, literally.
The two in midfield, is it going to be the same two as Dortmund? Kovacic, or do you think Zakaria might come in for this one? Do you think it'll be Kovacic and Enzo, or do you think it's Zakaria? Or what do you think we'll do?
I would go with Enzo and Kova.
Yep.
Keep it
I'm
the
not gonna lie,
same.
John. We got to keep the same shit going on, man. We have
Literally.
Zakaria came in and played a couple minutes. Do we defensively play Zakaria with Enzo and give Kovacic a break? Do we have to be careful with Kovacic, who's also suffered with injuries as well? Like, could that be the mindset?
I think what Potter's going to do is what he did similarly for the last couple of games: go in hard, score a goal, and then set back to defend and bring in subs to shape it up for us to win.
Kante doesn't come in. He apparently will be available for Everton, is what we've been told. So that's the next game at home. So we'll see. He has to keep playing these guys, is what Josh is saying.
Yeah, I think
works better.
I think I'll be honest with you, Jem. I think with Potter, he's been using Zakaria more as like sort of see out the game. We're seeing him sort of come on now at the same time as like Connor in it. So I think it's just I think keep it the same. Don't change too much. And then see out the game with Zakaria in the second half.
All right. That was an easy one, I guess. Not so easy when it comes to talking about the right, maybe, because Raheem Sterling is injured, tight hamstring. So
that hurts, man, because he's finally coming into form.
It's probably going to be here, though.
So you've got Madueke, you've got Mudryk, you've got João Felix, you've got who else have we got? Pulisic, you've got Ziyech. Jesus, Ziyech. Guys, pick who. Guess what Potter's going to do is what I'd say.
I've got a strong feeling is going to go with Pulisic. I don't know what it is. I've just got a feeling it's going to go with Pulisic.
So you think Pulisic? Dan, what do you think?
Because he's trusting more.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Ziyech.
It's going to be Ziyech. Oh, fucking made me sick.
Nah.
He likes Ziyech. I don't know why, but he likes Ziyech.
How can you like Ziyech when you watch him? Oh, mate, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, Hassan.
Yeah, sorry, give me a minute.
All right, AJ.
I mean, I see Pulisic came on, but I do agree. I do think he likes Ziyech on the right side a little bit better than anybody else. But it could be Mudryk, and somebody else gets swung over to the right side. So
could it not be Madueke like we had here from Josh? Madueke on the right with Felix and Havertz.
I don't think he's a starter yet.
I think there's a better chance Madueke plays wing back than he does in like the front three.
Especially as a inside forward, you kind of have to have a little bit different of a skill set.
Yeah.
AJ, who did you say?
I'm just gonna go Ziyech.
So we've got two Ziyech.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be Ziyech.
And Don said Pulisic.
No, I think he will start with Pulisic, but I wouldn't start with Pulisic. I'd probably go with Madueke. And if it's not working,
I'd go Madueke.
Yeah, I'd go Madueke.
I'll go with Madueke. I think it's the majority over here.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, this is what I get what Dan's saying about he thinks Madueke will only play wing back and that's it, but I don't get that. When you're playing a front three where you need to be direct and you need dribblers, why would you not play a player that can do that on the break, dribbling direct run at people. Like I don't get why they have to be so wide to do that. Madueke can play wide as one of the front three, but then drop in and link. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's what he likes doing anyway. So I don't see why we don't play him there. A bit like Mudryk. When people say, "Well, Mudryk can't play in the front three," why?
No, he definitely can.
The only thing is we have Loftus-Cheek playing right wing back, so he might need somebody who's a little bit more defensively sound on that right side to help with the overloads and just cover Loftus-Cheek. And I know he likes Ziyech when it comes to like the defensive phase of that position.
All right, let's go Madueke because it seems like
what?
I'm cool with that.
I mean, Dan's not. Look, Dan, don't get me wrong. It would not shock me if it was Ziyech. I think it could possibly be Ziyech, but because Hassan said Madueke, Don said Madueke, and I'm saying Madueke because I can't say Ziyech. I just can't. I can't see it.
No, I feel that. I wanted to be him though, but I just know part of like Ziyech more. So.
On the left, I'm going to go to Dan first in this because me and him have had this same thought process since the beginning. João Felix, I said before. Ever since before we sort of played, since we've been playing the free system, that I kind of worry with João Felix that I don't feel that him off the left is his best position. I see him as a number 10, but then when you play him as a 10, they kind of you have the issue of Havertz and him kind of doing the same thing, and this is why it then becomes ineffective because they run into the same positions and things like that, and that's why you maybe saw a better Havertz because against Dortmund, Felix was told more to hold wide, which then allowed Havertz to drop deeper, and Sterling ended up being more the focal point, running in behind, right? So with João Felix, I like him from what I'm seeing. I just don't know whether I like him and where I'm seeing him. Does that make sense? What do you think so far?
Of him as a player, I mean, my thoughts really haven't changed, right? The consistency in production has always been a big thing. But I think in this formation, I think he does work off the left. Again, it's just that final end product, right? That we're just waiting for. It's not really, I don't think in terms of the combination play. Yeah, sometimes he loses the ball and everything else. But it's kind of the consistency. Because then it's in certain games I see what people are like talking about. You know what I mean? In terms of his talent. See the way that he receives the ball in the half turn. I like those type of things. But then in the same game, after the 70th minute or 60th minute, he's invisible, right? He's not getting on the ball. He's not touching it. He's disappeared, right? Like he's nowhere to be found.
I agree.
So and then it's just like, okay, so this is the same. It's not really different, right? It's I don't know. He just seems like a luxury player, but he has. And we have the rest of the season to see if he proves us otherwise. Like you said, Nkunku's coming in, right? And the only way that I think both of them coexist as a 65 million player and an 80 million player possibly coming in is if we stick to this back three system, right? And it has to be worth it. Like you have to prove something outstanding than what we've seen so far. And people like to downplay goals and all these different, but those things matter, No,
but they do, and this is my biggest criticism of João Felix before he came to Chelsea, and I still stick by it, and I haven't really been proven wrong with it to this point. Even though I want him to, because that means that we're doing even better. Is that I was told that he is a creator and that he scores loads of goals. He scores goals. I don't really see that. What I think he does very well is he gives us something a little bit different in terms of being able to carry the ball, because he is a very good carrier, in my opinion. He wins, tackles in when we're struggling on pressure. He moves up the pitch very well. He can link up the play. But I agree, when it gets to the last sort of final part of the game where the chances land to him, he doesn't have that cutting edge. And that was my thing with him. And you want to go and spend 80 million on that, or whatever it is that we're going to spend on him. And that's why I'm not 100% still sold on him. I'm not saying that he can't do that. It might kick on for next. But all I'm saying from what I am seeing from him, it's not a hate to João Felix. I don't hate him. I think what he has done and come in has given us something that we haven't had. And I agree at this point. I'm just not sure I don't know. It's more the consistency thing, like what Dan says. I just need to see it a bit more, you know, and he needs to work on his finishing product, in my opinion, as well, because a lot of the chances do fall to him. People don't realize, but he does. He's had a lot of chances for us, and he just doesn't.
Yeah, and that's where the problem comes in, right? Because I think if you sign Felix, there's no way you can get a striker as well. That's going to be difficult to get a striker and get Felix, right? Which means like the goals matter because you don't have a striker who's going to score goals for you. The goals do matter. Like in Cucurella coming in, we need him to come in and score goals as well, right? Like
exactly. We need contributors. 100%.
We need both of them to get. If we keep both of them, we need 10, 15 goals from both. But he's missed a lot of big chances.
And you know what it is, right? What does it help? The fact is our parameter of strikers or the attacking threat is so low that anyone can come in and do a good job. And of course, Felix has came in and done a good job. But objectively speaking, he's done nothing to warrant his price tag.
I agree to a degree. I mean, Don, what's your thoughts on Jalfa? Do you get what I'm saying with him to a degree? Or do you, I mean, I know a lot of people in the chat are going mad because they love him and he's technical and this, that, and the other, but just on what I'm seeing so far.
100%. I think, from the first stream when we kind of sort of got linked to him, when we got him actually, I remember you saying, Jem, that when you look at his stats, this creator, his stats are showing something completely different. We're not really seeing much in terms of the numbers, right?
He's not a creator.
What I would say in terms of this formation, I have seen a little bit more of a link up between him and midfield as well as him and Kai. Because what was happening before was when we played that 4-3-2-1, Kai Havertz and João Felix was run into the same sort of area, which was pretty annoying. But now we're seeing Havertz actually allowing himself to actually drop in a little bit more because Felix is on the other side. So look, he does ghosting games a lot, but I'll be honest with you right now, he's part of the strongest team that we've got out there. We need to keep building that relationship. He's still a young player. I think guys forget this.
But let me ask you this: Does he warrant signing him for 70, 80 million from what you've seen?
No, I think the price tag's mad. But in this day and age, how many times are you going to pay for players for in terms of the actual market value? You're not going to get that these days. So
you still we signed Mudryk for 80 million as well. Like it's not like why did we bother signing Mudryk if we're going to keep Felix? Should just not sign Mudryk. That's the way I it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the mindset.
Yeah, but with Felix, he definitely offers us something different. I think with him, again, he's still young. He is going to get better, and again, he needs to build chemistry. He needs to keep playing with the same players because what we saw against
I don't know. I think I'm having deja vu with the whole Havertz situation because we had such a topic similar to this.
He's been more effective than Havertz. Let's not do that. I know Havertz was good last game, but he's been more. He's shown me
I'm talking about when Havertz first came in. I'm having a bit of deja vu, man. Yeah, give him a bit of time.
I wouldn't take it that far.
I'll say this, right? He has an attribute that fans really, really like and gives them
that touch or whatever it is.
No, the thing with Felix, he's a type of player, right? He's a type of player where he can affect a game without actually getting an assist or getting a goal. He's that type of player, right? And I feel like with again building that connection and building
has he done
that chemistry, we haven't seen it much. I'll be honest with you. Like, his finishing hasn't been great. His finishing hasn't been great, and his finishing hasn't been great. But this is the second position that he's playing already, Jem.
Yeah, but we're talking the way we're explaining him is as if we're looking at someone like Eden Hazard, like when he used to infect the games where you give him the ball.
He's not that level though. He's not at that level.
That's what I'm saying. He's not that. So,
Jem, you have defended Kai Havertz for 2 or 3 seasons whilst he's been underperforming. João Felix has been here for what? Has he even played 10 games for Chelsea?
Yeah.
No, because
you guys need to wait. Hold on, let me finish.
He got suspended on the first.
I haven't fully defended Kai Havertz for 3 years. I've also criticised. So let's not make me sound like I completely just blindly back him.
Yeah, but you've defended him, even though he's missed his chances, he's missed his passes. Now Felix has created more of those situations than Kai Havertz in these last 10 games.
He hasn't created though.
He hasn't though. Yeah,
that's the problem. This is where people fall out of the bracket.
Felix, if you just take away all the times his shot has hit the post. Just take away all the times. If he's
he would have
4 goals already.
We can't. This This is what frustrates me with the fan base.
Nah, you're being unfair. You're being unfair. You're being unfair.
Wait. Because the argument here is Felix versus Havertz, right? And that Havertz has had enough time, he hasn't done enough, and Felix hasn't. But then also the argument here is that Felix is way much better than Havertz, right? But then you are telling me that he's creating, and he doesn't. So what is the difference right now? Is it just that he's better with the ball and he runs more and he looks?
I'd say that's one of his strong attributes, 100%.
So what is the difference?
Jim, we've sat on this stream asking for people who are good on the ball carriers, people who can affect the game with the ball. I remember you specifically saying that same point. Now we have a player. The only thing is we're not super consistent, so it's hard for Felix to just come through and just. Everybody is not being consistent. The only person who's been consistent has been Enzo, and even he has had his deficiencies. So it's tough. But at the same time, you can't tell me that when the opposing defenses play against you a little bit different when you have a player like Felix, because he can affect the game on the ball. When we didn't have Felix on the field, we were creating even less chances. Not to mention, again, Felix has hit the post and the crossbar maybe 3 or 4 times.
The chances that were created for Felix in a number of games were by Kai Havertz. You do know that, don't you?
The last chance he hit the post was by Sterling. It was Sterling.
Well,
that was Sterling.
No, what I'm saying is the last couple of games, the chances that have been put on the plate for João Felix have partly came from Kai Havertz.
And how many chances has Kai Havertz missed that were on the plate?
As well, yeah, but this is not the argument. This is not the argument. I'm not even arguing about it.
No, but I'm pointing out the flaw in your argument is the bias.
My argument is you guys want us to go and spend 80 million on this João Felix guy, okay, which is fine. What I'm asking for you is what is it that you're expecting? Because from what I've seen to this point, right, he doesn't create enough and he doesn't score enough. And he's had in some of the games this season our best chances. And on top of all that, which I will give him a pass on, he does go missing in games. And that's partly to do with the balance.
Yeah, but Jim, I said this point before. I said this point before about Felix, right? He was playing in that 10 with Havertz up top, who we've all said isn't a striker.
Yes.
So you can't ignore that he hasn't been playing with a target man as well the whole time that he's been it. I don't think him and Aubameyang have even started together yet.
No, they haven't.
Is João Felix creating for a striker?
I want to see Felix with a proper striker.
Yeah.
I want to see Felix with a proper striker, and you're going to see a different player.
For the striker, though. He's not creating for the striker. He's not a creator. That's what I'm saying.
But Jim, what I'm saying is he's been playing with Havertz. Him and Havertz kept running into the same area because again, Havertz kept dropping deep. Felix, they just run into the same area. I need to see Felix with a proper striker.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, Felix is that player. I'll tell you what Felix is. Felix is that player that gets the ball from deep, and starts the attack, right? He's not always the guy that you want on the end of it because he doesn't finish, but he's the guy the guy that kind of does the pass to the person and then makes the pass to the person that then shoots. But then he gets us to that position with his ability. That is João Felix.
Do you know who you're talking about right now?
Like
you're describing Willian.
Nah.
Willian is my question. Right, so Dan and Jem. Right, so what you're saying is you don't want to sign him in the summer. You don't want to sign him in the summer. That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm not saying that. I've not said that. All I've said is from what I said at the beginning. I am consistent with what I say, and whether people like it or not, right? This is not me because I don't want it. It's me because I see when I look at him as a specific profile, I like parts of his game, but there's other parts where I'm like, well, you guys moan about Havertz, but then you want to sign João Felix to then replace Havertz, but then supposedly do the things that Havertz isn't doing. But I'm not seeing that so far.
I'm sure my criticism doesn't mean I'm saying Chelsea shouldn't sign him. I'm just saying these are the things that show me that he's still a project, right? And
yes, exactly.
Into his game. And my whole thing is like don't we have enough projects?
Bro, we're gonna sign a bunch. Everybody who we're signing right now is gonna be a project under Bowley. See what we're signing.
He's not supposed to be a project. He's a finished product.
There's still more to come. There's still more to come from Felix.
There's way more to come, bro.
No, hold on. But understand this, right? You're saying, Felix needs a striker because Havertz has been a striker.
Yeah.
But Aubameyang is definitely leaving. We know that 100%.
Yeah.
And we want to sign a striker to come in, right? Also, Nkunku is the finished product. So if you're telling me there's a spot behind a striker, I know who I'm giving it to.
I'm picking Nkunku all day. I'm telling you now.
So why
I'm
would I have
thinking
to? So
Nkunku
both, now it's
Nkunku can play off the left as well.
My
That's
thing
another
is,
thing.
we need a
So,
squad. We're
hold
gonna
on.
let
So,
go of
Peter,
who
we need a
is in
squad
the
of players.
bench. How
I'm
many players are we
shoehorning
letting
one
go of?
player. I'm going to
We're not
shoehorn
signing
one
80
one
millions
player
after 80
somewhere they
million.
don't want to play, and then I'll start complaining about, well, he's playing off the left. That's not really where he likes to play. And Mudryk is on the bench still. Why do we sign Mudryk?
This is it, Bobby. This is bang on what I'm trying to get at. We are not
That's a
going
different
to
point.
sign a striker and Felix and keep. We're not doing it and just spend 80 million on Mudryk. If we didn't buy Mudryk,
I'm saying that Felix is a good player. I'm not saying we don't need a striker, but I'm just defending the player.
My thing is
That's
this.
what I'm saying.
If you
Of
sign
course we need a
Felix,
striker. I want Ivan Toney. I've been saying that for 4 or 5 months now.
no, AJ, hold on. I'm saying, like, if we sign Felix, that means we don't sign a striker.
So then why can't we sell Havertz?
I'm not saying that.
Why can't we sell Havertz then? If that's the case, why can't we sell Havertz?
We're probably gonna sell Havertz for 50-60 million.
I'm definitely for selling Havertz.
So you guys are
wouldn't matter.
That's a different story. If they sell Havertz, it's a completely different story. Isn't
No,
it?
that wouldn't matter.
Everything is an if right now.
But
the thing is, guys, I don't think it's gonna be no striker if we sign Felix. I think we're still gonna go in for a striker 100%.
Yeah.
It's a squad.
I don't see us keeping all of them. So someone has to go here at some point. So,
but we have a lot of names to go.
A lot of names to go, and we also said in the group. We also spoke in the group chat. We also said Nkunku can play as a false 9. We said that there's some games where he might play as a false 9, and you have Felix behind him. We had a conversation about that.
But then you say he needs a proper striker. And Nkunku is not a proper striker. And he said he likes to play as a number.
But he's more clinical. I trust him in that 9 more than Havertz.
It's funny. This is all recency bias. It's so crazy.
He's more clinical from number 10.
You need Nkunku to be playing as like the second guy behind whoever the main striker is, and then he arrives in the box.
You know how good he is with his back to goal.
Ideally, João Felix and Havertz don't play on the same field.
No,
that's
don't.
Ideally.
They don't.
So
no.
we arguing. The argument is not really on the same line, which is why it's kind of tough to defend Felix in this moment, because one of them is going to sacrifice. Whoever is pushed to the left is going to sacrifice. One of them is going to get pushed out wide.
What I'm saying is, I still need to see more from João Felix in this next couple of months. For me, if we're going to sign
need more from Kai too.
100%. But we know this with Kai. But I'm not talking about Kai. I don't know why we always go to Kai when we're talking about one specific player. I'm talking about this specific player and what I'm seeing.
It's the microcosm of the argument. That's
I feel like you guys have been a bit harsh on Felix. Like with he missed 3 games. That first debut. Look what he was doing that debut against.
The argument here is Felix is playing his position. Havertz ain't.
Felix is not playing his position. I wouldn't say he's playing his position.
I'm not
arguing. Listen, I'm not arguing with you guys. You can sign Felix, especially if Mount leaves it, you get 50-60 million. You can do what you want with that, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
He makes 250K.
A lot of names.
250K, a week. That's crazy. But listen,
that's a lot of money, man.
Whatever you want to do, you can definitely do it. I'm just seeing how that fits into Nkunku coming in, and you also wanted to buy a striker, and you also wanted to develop Mudryk that you've invested 65 million in base. True. That's a very difficult.
We need a squad. Look at Manchester City.
Listen, different players fit different systems, man. Yes. Different players fit different systems.
Yeah, but we do need a squad, but we're not going to keep spending 80s, 100s, 80s, 100s.
We have him on loan. It's different. The player's already in the club.
Yeah, but Don, put it this way.
The market for everybody.
We're supposedly not giving Mason Mount what he wants in wage structure. People also forget it's not also about what we're paying for the player. It's also the structure and how much we're paying them, wages. Because look at the problems we're having with Mason Mount in terms of what we're being told. They've got a strict structure on wage, and they're trying to, obviously, in my opinion, by the sounds of it, from what you've seen on the players we have signed, because you can look at the wages that we signed them for, barring Felix, trying to cap their wages for whatever reasons, right? So, Felix, who's on 300 or K, whatever it is, on a, on a loan.
200. I think it's on 200.
Is he, is he going to accept a long-term contract on 160K a week? Does it say? I don't know.
Yeah, but Jem, he knows what's going on. Yeah. He knows what's going on with the new contracts that we've been signing on with these new players that are coming in. Realistically, we're not going to be in the Champions League next season, so he's fully aware of it, and he's still been coming out in public saying, "Look, I'm happy here. pretty
He
much
is.
putting it
Yeah,
to
he
say,
is,
look, the ball's in your court. If you want me, I'm happy to
Yeah,
say.
but
Yep.
also,
So he's
but
going to
what
be fully
people in the
aware
media-
of the drop in wages, 100%.
Hold on, but would you
Listen, we're
agree
not
that
going
what
to be
we're
out of
seeing
the
in the
Champions League
media
if
is
we don't get there.
And Mount made this problem himself. He's the one who went out of form, and at the crucial
He's got a
time, his contract
Yeah.
talks. You can't be going out of form at contract talks. It's not going to work out for you. So
What scares me, right, Jem? For me, how I'm looking at it right now, cool. We haven't seen the best of Felix. We've seen a good player in some parts. I totally agree with what you guys are saying. From what we've seen so far, it's definitely not worth the money. But I've seen enough to say, right, there's a player in there. And once we've got this system built and we've got a lot of chemistry going on in this team, this is going to be a player that's going to be able to unlock defenses. He can play cam. He can play on the left. He can play false nine. I know we're probably going to bring in a striker, but he does give us that option. And again, it's a squad. It's a squad. And Cuckoo might not be performing some games. He gets dropped. Felix comes in. Felix might not be playing well some games. And Cuckoo comes in. It's a big squad. That's just football.
I need that. I need a squad where
Yeah,
I could
but
call
hold on.
Felix.
How I'm looking at it, if
just
we
put a
let
different
Felix
word?
go, we are going to regret it, because if Felix went to Arsenal, they would have swept the league. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he would suit their system, wouldn't he, to a degree?
Exactly.
you know?
That's their system, which is
And the
built.
players to
Our
have
system's
around,
not built yet.
yeah.
Our system's not built yet. Hence why I'm looking at it more long term. I've seen enough from him to say, right, he'll fit what we're trying to build as a footballer. He's a very technical footballer. He can drive with the ball. He's the type of player, like I said, who might not get you an assist or might not get you a goal in the game, but he can still affect the game. He can still affect the game 100%. So looking at what we're trying to build right now, I think he fits into that puzzle 100%. So for me, I haven't seen enough to warrant that price tag, but I've seen enough to say, yeah, this is.
But does he play off the left? Does he play off the left? That's what I need to ask. Just go back. Does he play off the left?
And what formation?
I would say Felix.
Yeah, all right. He came off.
I don't want to change too much. Yeah,
he came off against Dortmund, didn't he? So you'd think he'd start. He's in, and like I said to you guys, I keep saying this. It's got nothing to do with Kai Havertz when we're talking about João Felix. All I'm saying is that if we're going to sign him for this amount of money, I want to see the things that some of these fans that do like him or over like him keep saying he can do. I know why I'm saying
I think a lot of people, there's a fine difference. A lot of people overrate him. What I've seen so far, like I said, does not warrant that money. But I've seen enough in parts to say, look, this is a good player. He's going to fit the system we're trying to build. So again,
I'm not too sure on that.
Yeah,
that's my question. I'm not too sure on that. And that's why I need. And from that, you need to see that with consistency. But I agree. When you've got a squad that's not balanced, that is still teething and whatever, I get all that. I get it. But is it worth the 80 million moving forward for him to then fit in with the Nkunkus or an Osimhen or an Ivan Toney? Will that then merit us seeing the best of him? It depends. What my point of this is, what is it that we're expecting is the best of him? What is it that makes him this player that we should be signing for 80 million? Because if you say to me it's because he scores goals, well, he don't.
I'm not letting go of good players, Jim. We might not have Champions League next year. We might not have Champions League next year. Good players might not even want to come to us in the summertime.
Felix won't even worth.
Stop what? It's a fact, bro.
Well, Chelsea, that is.
I understand with Chelsea. I'm with you on that, but it's just a fact. It's in the realm of possibility.
It's not a fact for us, though. Like
it's in the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, I'm just putting Havertz up front.
For the son who we want to sign.
I mean, even ask.
He's up there. What do we need to say? He's playing. As much as I don't like him, there
he has to play.
He's balling. He gotta play.
Mate, I've said it right for a very long time. People don't listen to me. I don't like Kai Havertz play as a number 9. I don't like it. I generally don't want him there, But if he plays like he did against Dortmund and continues it, we might actually benefit from it.
Bro, who was that player? That was a whole different player.
I don't know who that was, man.
Bro, who the fuck was
the player that showed you that he has qualities? That's why
I rated Havertz, especially when he first came. But I just realized his mentality was off. And if you don't have the mentality, it's hard for you. It's very hard for you to be successful, especially
where across the line with Kai Havertz with people. Right? I get the people not wanting him here or wanting him to whatever. I get it. But where I crossed the line with it was when people kept telling me that he has nothing. He can't do anything.
No, that's not true.
That's not true, because he has got the ability. It's a bit like the João Felix thing. He does have the abilities. You can see it in his game. But
Jeff, the reason why he would get that, the reason why he gets that criticism when you say he's got nothing, right, is because he's been here for 3 seasons, Jem, and we can probably pick 5 games max, I would say, where we've seen Havertz play like the way he did against Dortmund the other day. So for me, he's been here long enough to be performing the way he did against Dortmund the other day.
Yeah, I agree. It needs
You
to
just
be
haven't seen
consistent.
enough of
I
that.
agree.
So,
No, but I agree with that. I agree.
Like
with
I
that.
said in January,
Yeah, I agree with
this
that.
Kai Havertz is one of the players that needs to prove that he's
Yep.
he's worthy of a place in this team. Because for me, it does not get into the 11 that I'm looking to build. But based off that performance the other day, listen, if you want that position up there, you play up there. You play like that, you keep your place. That's where it is with Kai
I
Havertz.
always said, I
I
always said to you guys that I think if you allow him to have a bit more, not say room, but allow him to operate and just do his thing, but not being the focal point. And I've said this since Havertz has been it, that you'll get a better Havertz. The consistency is a question mark because we haven't seen it. I get that, and I think he has to be more consistent. But to see what Havertz can actually do to a degree involves him actually having to be a bit of a freedom role, which is what I would say a 10 role. As much as people say he's not a 10, you see what I mean? So you saw him against Dortmund. What did he do a lot of in that game? He dropped deep. He got stuck in. He got involved, right? But then he was also able to move. But why did he not have to worry about being as far forward? Because Sterling was the guy that was playing as the supposed number 9, trying to run in behind. And that then allowed him to be more effective. His decision-making on the ball was better. He was playing balls at the right time, Like, this is my point. Yes, he's not consistent. Yeah, I get that. And I want to see the consistency. I am on your side when it says to that. But there is a player there that we can benefit from if we can just get him to play in that role and do what he's done. So now this Leicester game, the issue we've got now is Sterling's injured, because I think Sterling would have played the same role against Leicester as what we would have seen, at Dortmund, as what we were going to see in the Leicester game. Because now Sterling's injured and we haven't got that frightening pace to get him behind and play that role, because I think Sterling can, even though he's not great at it. I think it then leaves a problem for Havertz now, because now he's going to have to stay.
Yeah.
And that's where it doesn't work for me. And this is why I say, play him as a focal point.
He needs runners.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's not going to work. And this is where we'll be sitting here on Sunday. I guarantee it. On Sunday, we'll be sitting here saying, Havertz didn't play well. And I'll say the same thing. It's because...
And that's exactly why we can't start Ziyech on the right.
Yeah.
We need a runner in behind.
That goes down to management now as well, doesn't it? Andrew said it on here, and it was right what he said. Management of Havertz sometimes is not great, in theory, and I agree with it to a degree. But part of it is him as well, yes. But I just think give him that role would work better. We might see a bit more, That's all I would say.
You know what I was thinking too? I know Felix has he played every game since he's been back from suspension?
Yeah, he has.
It might be, and Mudryk hasn't featured in like the last 3 games. There might be a change right there.
If Havertz is non-existent and we sit here against Leicester and he's not really done, just whatever, I guarantee you now it will be because there was no runners and he was just trying to hold the ball up on his own and whatever, and he just loses the ball. I guarantee that will be the case. Watch it. I'm telling you, we'll be there, Don. Anyway, we're going to watch the game, but watch it. If that happens, you're going to know. I was telling you now before you all come in here and go, he's shit. This is why I'm telling you. It's not going to work. But we'll see. We will see, mate. We know he's not a 9, so the inconsistency in the performance is partly it's going to be.
I mean, 9 or not, the problem is like I can just picture a striker in several situations that these guys found themselves in, and I'm just thinking, go. Like even with the chance that he did get fouled in the box, right? He got nudged in his back right when he was about to shoot. I promise you put Osimhen in that situation, he's still scoring.
Oh, 100%.
There's something about strikers that they just score those, you know what I mean? And that's what we need.
They expect that contact.
Yeah.
They expect it, they brace for it, or they initiate contact first to like throw that player off. Oh, like either way, we need goals, right? We're suffering.
That's what I'm begging for.
Scored more goals than our entire team. One player has scored more goals than our entire team in the Premier League. It's embarrassing, right? It's disgusting what has happened to us. So, like, players need to start proving themselves as finishers as well. You can do everything else. Just finish.
Yeah. I think the one thing that Sterling done well at Dortmund was alleviating Havertz having to worry about being the focal point, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's why it looks.
But that's why it's important to have the right profiles around him. That's why I'm like the Felix thing. I get it. Like he's not really somebody who's gonna run in behind like that. He wants the ball to his feet and affect the game like that. And Havertz wants the same thing. So
I would disagree though. Felix, I've seen Felix try and make runs in behind. He just is,
but it's not natural though. That's what I'm saying.
No, when he makes runs in behind, he's it's a big chance he gets in, right?
He does.
Like I said with all these guys, right? This is why finishing is so fucking important. You just have to finish, right? Like Havertz would probably had an easier time if we had two wingers who like finished really, really well. And he was false nine.
I
You
agree.
know what it is with Havertz? I
But we
feel like
didn't.
his
So the pressure
finishing-
was on him as well. Like
You
pressure
know what
on
really
everybody.
annoys me with Havertz is finishing, right? First of all, it's the power in his shooting.
Oh
But
my god.
I feel like with him, he always tries to get it perfect. Like it doesn't have to be a
He tries a
perfect.
little lob and stuff, didn't he?
He tries
rather
to do
than
that little
power.
lob, and it's like a little back pass that he does. Like it's all cute and that. I know you're trying to probably do it for Instagram or these little clips.
I just want to see him lash the fucking ball,
Bro, put your foot through the ball, man. Like if you look at a striker when they hit the ball, they just hit it clean. Havertz never aims to do that, and we've seen goals from him. Look at the goal he scored against Dortmund. He's got that in him. He's got that in him to get to score goals like that. But then when he's actually in front of the keeper one-on-one, it's like he freezes and wants to do something cute. Put your
But he doesn't even have that
foot
type
through
of
the ball.
like space to take those shots because he scored that type of goal, I think, against England as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He scored that goal against England.
He can score those when he has space and he
Yeah.
has time and he can drop in. The Premier League, especially, he just doesn't have that.
He doesn't
Right.
have that low and hard shot to the corner. That's what
To play devil's advocate though, right, Jem? I know Havertz had a good game the other day, but it was Champions League. He had a lot more time to sort of dictate play, bring the
No,
ball
but you
down.
had to put that performance in though, and then
Yeah,
I'll
no,
say
100%. I'm not
something
putting it
also as well. I think Potter managed it better, and I keep saying that. I think he managed him better in the way that he was allowed to be able to drop deeper and be more involved and move up the pitch and link play. He just looked better because I think Potter played him in the way that I think he needs to be played in that style. That's my opinion. I've always said that with Havertz. I've said that. I've been consistent with, as much as people don't like Havertz, I've always been consistent in what I think would get the best out of him. And then it's down to him to then be consistent. And
Let's not pretend like Havertz didn't put in these type of performances last year as well. It was inconsistent, right? It's probably if he played 60 games, he gave you this in 15 of them, right? And the others were just, neither here nor there. Sometimes he was involved, he wasn't, he did this, but he gave you 15 games like this. He can give you this. Can he give you this every game, right? Does he have the right system where he's allowed to be basically like the luxury player, the Firmino of our team? But you can only have one. You can't have 2 or 3 guys who don't score.
But there's also Ardy. When you say that, there's also a lot of created chances that he's given that he could have had more assists on that wasn't finished.
It's not just him that doesn't score.
People don't realize it.
Because he's missed the most big chances, and recently he's created the most big chances for Felix, who's missed the most big chances.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's
one step forward, 2 steps back. That's what it's been with Havertz. So
all this shows me is everybody sees that Havertz has the skill set and the ability. It's just up to him to do it, but he hasn't been doing it consistently.
Yeah,
everybody sees it.
I agree.
I feel like you need to accommodate to him as well, and I feel like people aren't open to that because again, we've seen him for 3 years and he just hasn't been consistent enough. So it's like, why do you warrant being accommodated to? Hence why we've looked at Felix more when to play in that 10 and hopefully drop him when it came to actually starting a striker when we're playing the 4-3-2-1 before. Because
I think Felix is very
why should
good
we
at
accommodate Havertz? Do you know what I mean?
I like Felix in the 10 better than I do on the wing. I'll be honest with you.
Same.
But the issue with the 4 at the back is that defensively we don't look as good, in my opinion. I think Silva and Badashile look all right, but I think it's the protection in and around that, which is the issue.
The midfield, bro.
Right now,
so much space in the midfield.
Listen, we've got this guy on loan, man. We can't be benching him. We need to make use of that money. And he missed 3 games at the beginning already. So we need to make sure that Felix is getting as much game time as possible. Because we still need to see enough to actually purchase him in the summer. So
let's do score predictions, guys. Dan, are we going to get 3 wins in a row, mate? What are you saying? He's on mute.
Yeah,
he'll come back.
I hope so. Sorry, man. I was on mute. I hope so, bro. I'm just gonna be positive. I'm tired of losing.
Yeah, same.
And we can easily get into the top 5, 6, man. Like these teams are not playing well in front of us, but we can't just get our shit together, right? But maybe we can. Maybe we win this game. Hopefully we do. 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1. Don, I mean, we're going tomorrow, so a 2-hour drive down there.
Listen, look, I'll be honest with you, right? I'm not even being big-headed here. Defensively, we've been good. Leicester are terrible. Is Maddison fit?
I don't know. Again, I don't know.
I need to double-check that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2-0 Chelsea, man. I just don't see Leicester scoring. They struggled to score against United. Against Arsenal, they were terrible. So yeah, I'm saying 2-0 Chelsea. I'm quite confident, to be honest, just because Leicester are so bad.
Yeah. All right, AJ, what are you saying, bro?
I'm not gonna give a score line, but I'm gonna say if we get a clean sheet, we'll win the game.
I think if we play the three at the back, we'll get a clean sheet. I think
that's the key right now. That's just the key for us. We just gotta keep it clean at the back and hopefully take 1 or 2 chances and just seal up the fucking game. That's what Potter been doing, and we just gotta keep doing that. We need some momentum as well, so it'll be nice to win this game because that'll be 2 games in a row in the Premier League. So we gotta start moving up the table, man.
You know, it'd be nice to see a goal in the first half in the Prem, please. Like
early,
goal in the
first
half.
10 minutes, man.
Wrap it up.
I'm past looking at the overall performances throughout the 90 because I do feel even against the Dortmund game, we lose control of the games too easily. We do. We just don't ever. We're never able to sustain long periods of domination from what I'm watching, and I think that's partly maybe to do with the team overall, maybe still the chemistry, the understanding, and missing of profiles still, which I think we still need. But I'm past looking at the overall performance. I mean, the performance at Dortmund was good, but like I said, we still lost control in parts of the game where we allowed pressure, and that worries me a bit sometimes. But looking at this game, I think Leicester ain't great. Obviously, any team that's not great in form that needs a pump seems to wake up when they play Chelsea. I hope that's not the case with us. But I'll go over to. Look, I'm going to go over 2-0. I am going to go over 2-0. I don't know who scores. I'd like to see Enzo just bang one from 30 yards, to be honest, because I know he can do it.
Jeb, well, I'm going to go mad if that happens. Oh my,
top corner, top bins, Enzo, man. Because I know we haven't spoke about Enzo since I've been away, but this boy is just class. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. He's slotted right in, bro.
He's just so good, and the fact that he's dominating stats constantly, and he's conscious. I mean, look, the first half against Dortmund, I think him and Kovacic it was a hard because they were outnumbered in midfield, and what they did, which was quite clever in that game, is different to what they did in the Dortmund away game. Is that they, instead of pressing out, they stood close to each other, but took a step back, and they kind of allowed Dortmund to have the ball there. But what they did very cleverly is they closed the gap between the midfield and the defence so that the Brandts and whatever couldn't receive the ball. So they said, right, we're not going to come running around like headless chickens trying to win the ball for you. We're going to stand next to each other closely, but we're going to stop you getting the balls in between behind us. And it was a clever approach because defensively, we know they're both not defensive sitters. They just can't. That's not their game. But what they did there worked. And I think, again, you can maybe look at Potter. Maybe that was a Potter instruction, but it worked. And in the first half, they didn't get a lot of the ball, but the second half, they then, in my opinion, took control. And then you saw Enzo just getting better and better because he started playing in them balls quickly, and we were, breaking and stuff. But,
what I realized as well, since Cover got that armband, he's kind of stepped up. And him and Enzo, they seem to have a good relationship sort of building at the moment. So we definitely don't disrupt that. And I think, Cover getting that armband now. He looks like a different
That was a good comment.
That was a good comment.
Was that?
That's a fact.
Enzo is so good that
you don't really hear about it. You don't hear shit about it.
Look, we're not going to. I keep saying I don't think we're going to get the absolute best of him yet. I do think we need someone next to him that's going to alleviate him from having to worry about being so deep and worry about who's next to him. Yeah, he needs a release. He just needs a release, to be able to just go and know that guy behind him is that good at holding that he can just, do his thing. And I think that will come in time. But there's no doubt in saying the qualities of the player. I mean, Dan, I haven't asked you on Enzo because I've not spoken to you about it. What do you think of Enzo from what you've seen to this point?
He's been good. He's what I thought it was, Yeah. I think he's a good player. I think, again, like most people think, with a DM, he probably gets a lot better, with that pressure off of having to win the most duels. And people don't understand because they've seen Conte do it. Like, it's draining. You have to have, like, an exceptional engine to be able to do that. Win duels and create, and get back and cover space and all these different things. So, actually, Conte being back is actually going to help a lot.
I think so.
I want to see if Conte is Conte, that is, you know what I mean? Like,
Let me just say something about a player, right, that I've seen in these 2 legs. Jude Bellingham, right? I rate him as a footballer, right? But I don't even want to see Todd Bowley test the waters. Like,
No,
he's not what we need. He is not what we need. When I saw the links initially, I said the same thing. I said, we need a DM. Don't worry about Jude Bellingham. Leave him to Liverpool and Madrid or City. We need a DM, man. Enzo's been good, not great.
Yeah, but JP was the one that when we were signing him, was hanging on to me about not getting him. I remember.
You know what? Jude?
I think he's been very good. He hasn't been great. I think he gets great when he gets a DM.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. He's been good.
But great
But he's
teams
doing-
that we're winning, right? We've been winning.
Exactly.
But we haven't. So, but what I would say is, even in the games that we've lost, he's still been pretty
He's been very good,
decent,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I get that. But again, JP, that goes back to what I said about the overall squad and around him and whatever, and releasing him and things like that. But I knew this was going to happen. And do you know what? He's only had a professional career for 3 years. He's still learning a lot. You know? He's only mad, isn't it? When you look at how he's played, and do you know what is with him? It's the maturity with him. Like he's 21, 22 years old, but he's only played professional football for 3 years. But he just looks so relaxed. He knows what he's doing.
He's a baller, bro. That's just what it is.
He's just a baller. He's
baller in and out. Yeah.
Guys, big up to every single one of you. Enjoyed the show. Go over to Lewis's channel because I think he's going live next anyway. So you just go and check him out as well. I want to big up Dan, AJ, and Don for joining me on my first show back. I am going to the game tomorrow. Welcome back. Yeah, big up, bro. I'm going to the game tomorrow, so I won't be doing a reaction until Sunday. So we'll do one on Sunday to the game, whether it's a win or a lose. I hope it's a win because I haven't done a show where we've won. I was away and we were winning. And now I'm back. Yeah, so
you guys gonna do some content after the game?
Maybe. I'm gonna meet Don there, so maybe we'll do a GNA TV.
Yeah, man, do some shit, bro.
Yeah, we'll do a little something. We'll figure something.
I want to go to the games, man. Soon I'm a head over there.
I'm a little bit more worried about going to the game and how cold it is because I've just got back and I'm worried about getting ill. So it's freezing here at the moment, and I've just come back from 30-degree weather. So yeah. Big up, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. 350 people in the chat. I'll be back Sunday. Up the Chelsea. Let's go and get the win. Keep the focus on. Can Potter sustain back-to-back wins? Is the question mark. We will see.
Potter in.
You didn't say that. I didn't say that.